Every single American owes over $100,000 in national debt. But here's the shocking part. The US government is adding $1 trillion to that debt every 100 days, and guess what? They can't pay it back. So, what happens when the world's largest economy is drowning in debt? Let's break it down. The debt problem. The US national debt is now a staggering $34.8 trillion. That's more than the combined economies of China, Japan, and Germany. But the real issue isn't just the number, it's the trend. The debt is growing faster than ever, and the Congressional Budget Office predicts it will only get worse in the next decade. So, how did we get here? And is there a way out? How the government goes into debt. When the government spends more than it earns, it borrows money by selling bonds. Countries like Japan and China buy these bonds, and the US promises to pay them back with interest. But here's the twist. The Federal Reserve can also buy these bonds by printing money. Sounds like a cheat code, right? Well, it's not that simple. The deficit disaster. This year, the US spent $4.5 trillion, but only earned $3.29 trillion, leaving a $1.2 trillion hole. Where does that money go? Social Security, Medicare, defense, and here's the kicker, $601 billion just in interest payments. With rising interest rates, that number is only going up, creating a dangerous debt spiral. So, what's the solution? The sneaky cheat code? Here's where it gets sneaky. Inflation can actually shrink the debt. For example, a $24,000 house in 1970 is worth over $400,000 today. By printing more money and letting inflation rise, the government can pay back old debts with cheaper dollars. But there's a catch. Too much inflation can spiral out of control like we saw in 2022. Is this cheat code worth the risk? The hard truth. The hard truth is there's no easy way out. The US needs to either spend less, earn more, or both. But no one wants higher taxes or cuts to Social Security or defense. Take Australia, for example. They just posted a $22 billion surplus by keeping spending in check and boosting productivity. Can the US do the same? Or are we headed for a financial reckoning? The role of interest rates. Here's another layer to the problem: rising interest rates. The Federal Reserve has raised rates to combat inflation, but this makes borrowing more expensive. As old debts mature, the US has to refinance them at higher rates, increasing interest payments even further. This creates a vicious cycle where the debt grows faster than the economy can handle. The global impact. The US debt isn't just an American problem, it's a global one. Countries like Japan and China hold trillions in US bonds. If the US defaults or struggles to pay, it could send shockwaves through the global economy. This interconnectedness makes the debt crisis even more urgent to address. What can be done? So, what's the solution? There's no magic fix, but a combination of strategies could help. First, the US needs to boost productivity and economic growth. Second, it needs to rein in spending without crippling essential services. And third, it needs to carefully manage inflation and interest rates to avoid making the problem worse. The bigger picture. At the end of the day, the US debt crisis is a wake-up call. It's a reminder that even the world's largest economy isn't invincible. The choices made today will shape the future for generations to come. Will the US rise to the challenge, or will it continue down a dangerous path? If you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of money, markets, and the economy. And don't forget to check out my next video, where I'll reveal how you can protect your money in a debt crisis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.